It's a hidden gem in the world of palms. Let's talk about Trachycarpus. What's up, fellow plant enthusiasts? My name is Dylan and this is Baines Botanicals. Today we're going to be talking about Trachycarpus. Now, you may never have heard of this palm before, and honestly, I probably wouldn't even know what it was if I hadn't found this at a greenhouse last summer. I say that it's a hidden gem because it has been really good to me, and it's put up with moving, it's put up with neglect, it's put up with all kinds of stuff, several pest infestations, just because you can kind of look at the shape of the leaves and see that these are ideally shaped for things like spider mites, for things like potentially mealybugs. I want to say this has only had spider mites. I think it was my licuala that had mealybugs and scale, but this one's only had spider mites, which is an easy fix. But it hasn't ever really been fussy, and when I have neglected it, it has not really shown that neglect. I've had this out on my patio all summer, just letting it get some really good sun, just trying to take care of it as best I can because I'm really grateful that it's been so easy for me. Now, originally, in my initial list of plant care videos, I was going to cover 9 palms. I ended up skipping Phoenix because the spines on Phoenix are kind of dangerous, and I just don't think it's a plant that many people have as a houseplant, even though they are sold as houseplants. So we have covered Chamaedorea, Dipsis, Howea, Licuala, Livistonia, Rhapis, Ravinia, and now Trachycarpus. Thena's having a little cough. You okay? Okay, she's good. She's usually laying on the table when I'm making these videos, but oh, now she's done. So yeah, this is the last one. There are other palms out there. Are they as popular as houseplants go? Are they that easy to find? Not really. I have seen other palms and I thought, dang, I should probably try to buy that because I could use that on the channel. But then I look at the price tag and I'm like, oh. And then I look at the size of it and I'm like, oh, I don't need a plant that big. But there have been some other unique ones that maybe someday we'll cover. But anyway, let's go and do this. Here is the taxonomy information for Trachycarpus. It is in the family Ericaceae, which means it is a true palm. It's only a true palm if it's in the family Ericaceae. So no sago palm, no ponytail palm, no cardboard palm. Those are all other plants. True palm. Let's go and get into the care. So as far as care goes, it needs bright indirect light or direct sun if you can kind of acclimate it. It does really well outside because it is a palm. You know, they come from the tropics. They like a lot of sun. They like consistent rain, consistent watering, consistent moisture. I have this one in a plastic pot, and I water it basically at the same frequency as most of my other tropicals. I don't really let it dry out too much. You can let it dry out a little bit because you don't want to water it too much and give it, root rot, but it doesn't like to dry out. It's not a succulent or a cactus. It needs water. The key or the caveat to that is that I do have this in more of a faster draining mix. It is in kind of a cacti succulent soil that has a little bit of that extra sand and perlite for drainage. Because the thing about palms is that they are used to getting rained on and then drying out, and then getting rained on and then drying out. It's wet and then it's dry. So they don't want to be sitting in moisture necessarily like a fern does, where a fern is sitting at the bottom of the forest where it's like consistently moist all the time. These do dry out, but they dry out and they get wet frequently, So when you have a faster draining mix, you're trying to replicate that environment where the water drains, it gets what it needs, and then it'll dry out a little quicker than maybe your other plants will, so maybe you will water it more frequently. This one's just big enough that I can get away with watering it maybe like once a week. But yeah, it's just, palms are like the next level of advancement, I think, when it comes to like taking care of houseplants. I think that's a video. like the different levels of houseplant care, like the different levels of difficulty. I think I might make that. But this would be like the next step up, just because there are a couple of extra little things you need to think about. What did we not do? Humidity, it appreciates humidity. It's a tropical plant. It comes from the tropics. It needs that extra humidity. So in the wintertime especially, it loves a humidifier. Pebble tray method. You can mist it if you want, not too much, but yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that these are prone to pests. Palms are prone to pests. They just are, especially spider mites. So just kind of be proactive. Think about that. Think about giving it a good shower, maybe once a month, where you spray it off just to kind of keep the dust off, keep the pests away. Not a bad idea. I fertilize it just bi-weekly during the growing season, and then not at all during the dormant season, late fall, winter, early spring. And as far as fertilizers go, I use a regular houseplant fertilizer, but be cautious because palms can be a little sensitive to the sodium in houseplant fertilizers. It's not a bad idea to maybe dilute it just a little bit more if you feel so inclined. I don't dilute mine with this one more, and it's doing fine. But the next step to that would be maybe once a season, like maybe once every 3 months, flush your pot out. Just let the water run, let the water just run through it for like 5 minutes or something, and just let that running water flush out the salt buildup, because salt buildup can be very toxic to palms. They're really sensitive to that. So there's something else to keep in mind about palm care. I think I've said that on all my other palm videos. Just be careful of the salt buildup. This one is probably about due to be flushed out, and maybe in a week when the month changes over, I think I'll do that just to make sure, because I did just water this yesterday or the day before, so I don't want to do it now, but I'm going to wait till it dries out, and then I'm going to give it a really good soak and make sure it's taken care of. I also need to spray this off. I just brought it in tonight, and I know that there is a pretty good sized spider web on it, an actual spider, not spider mites. And unfortunately, he's going to have to be rehomed because I don't want spiders on this plant. Anyway, did I cover everything I wanted to cover? Trachycarpus is a really cool palm, and I just haven't seen them that much. If you find one and it's a decent price, I think this one was like 40, which I think for the size that it is, I mean, it's grown though. I mean, it's not like I got it this size, but I think for that price, that's a pretty good price. It is, let me move it. It is, fairly exotic looking. It is very tropical looking. It's got nice big leaves on it. It's in kind of I think this is a 10-inch or a 12-inch pot right now. But yeah, I mean, a really cool plant. One other thing you might consider, let's turn this around a little bit more. It's kind of grown sideways a little bit. It's always been like that. If at some point when I repot it, I will straighten it out, but it's fine the way it is for now. One thing to keep in mind with palms also is that brown tips are not uncommon. Just because we can't always provide the adequate humidity and watering that they would be getting in nature. And even in nature, they probably get brown tips. So this is a good plant that you can give a haircut to, right? Just cut right above the line where it's brown. Don't cut into the green, cut just past the line on the brown so that you don't damage the living tissue. And it just makes the plant look a little nicer. It just cleans it up a bit. I gave this one a haircut before I started this video because, I wanted to look good. And it just needed to be done anyway. It actually wasn't bad. It didn't really, I only had like a little handful of tiny little brown clippings. So my rhaphis palm, my lady palm, however, when I give it a haircut, I have like a handful of clippings because I still haven't mastered rhaphis care. But you know what? It's hanging in there. It's doing fine. But honestly, if I had to rate kind of the ease of care as far as palms go, since we're kind of wrapping up palms, I'll probably do a comprehensive palm video at some point, just for fun. But this is definitely one of the easier ones. I would say it's probably third easiest if I had to pick it. Nah, maybe second or third. Chamaedorea is the easiest, right? And then like Dipsis is pretty easy too. and then this one is pretty easy. More difficult ones would be like Licuala. Livistonia is fairly tricky. Ravinia usually doesn't do very well inside, but it's still sold as a houseplant. But yeah, anyway, that's for a different video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any experience with Trachycarpus. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support and your likes and your subscribes and your comments and being so involved in the community. I love that we have a community. I think that's so cool that I see you guys commenting to each other and trying to help each other out, and that's so beautiful. So thank you so much for contributing to that and everything. I'm trying not to poke my eye out on this thing. And yeah, until the next video, I will see you guys very soon. Thank you.